Confessions 9. At Rome, I was at once struck down by illness, which all but carried me off to hell, loaded with all the evil that I had committed against you, against myself, and against other men, a host of grave offences over and above the bond of original sin, by which we all have died with Adam. You had not yet forgiven me any of these sins in Christ, nor on his cross had he dissolved the enmity which my sins had earned me in your sight. How could he dissolve it on the cross if he were a mere phantom, as I believed? In so far then as I thought the death of his body unreal, the death of my own soul was real. And the life of my soul, because it doubted his death, was as false as the death of his flesh was true. My fever rose. I came close to dying, close to losing my soul. For if I left this life, where else would I go but to the fiery torments which my deeds deserved in the justice of your law? My mother did not know that I was ill, yet far away she continued to pray for me. But you are present everywhere. Where she was, you listened to her prayers, and where I was, you had mercy on me, so that I regained my bodily health, though my blasphemous heart was still diseased. For despite my great danger, I had no desire to be baptized. As a boy, I had been better, for I had appealed to my mother's piety and begged her to let me be baptized, as I have already recalled in these confessions. But I had grown up and grown more vicious with the years. I was a fool who laughed at the cure which you prescribed when you saved me in my state of sin, from twofold death, the death of the body and the death of the soul. If I had died in that state, my mother's heart would never have recovered from the blow. Words cannot describe how dearly she loved me, or how much greater was the anxiety she suffered for my spiritual birth than the physical pain she had endured in bringing me into the world. I cannot see how she could ever have recovered if I had died in that condition, for my death would have pierced the very heart of her love. And what would have become of all the fervent prayers which she offered so often and without fail? They would have come to you, nowhere but to you. But would you, O God of mercy, have despised the contrite and humble heart of that chaste and gentle widow, so ready to give alms, so full of humble reverence for your saints, who never let a day go by unless she had brought an offering to your altar, and never failed to come to your church twice every day, each morning and night, not to listen to empty tales and old wives' gossip, but so that she might hear the preaching of your word and you might listen to her prayers? Could you deny your help to her when it was by your grace that she was what she was, or despise her tears when she asked not for gold or silver or any fleeting, short-lived favour, but that the soul of her son might be saved? Never would you have done this, O Lord. No, you were there to hear her prayer and do all in due order as you had determined it was to be done. It could not be that you would have deceived her in the visions you sent her and the answers you gave to her prayers, both those that I have recorded and the others which I have not set down. All these signs she cherished in her faithful heart, and in her ceaseless prayers she laid them before you as though they were pledges signed by your hand. For since your mercy endures forever, by your promises you deign to become a debtor to those whom you release from every debt.